my channel. I'm Victoria, and today I did a super dramatic orange look. I switched up my lipstick. In the end of the video you'll see I'm just wearing a pink lipstick, but I switched it to this Maybelline lipstick because I just love orange and blue together. But this tutorial actually has a lot of importance to me because September is Leukemia Awareness Month. And my grandmother actually has leukemia, so this is a cause that's very important to me. So I just want to let anyone know who has leukemia or has a family member with leukemia, I'm praying for you. Please send prayers to my grandmother that she recovers. And if you feel so compelled, you can always volunteer for the Leukemia Lymphoma Society or any, charity in general that really speaks to you in your heart. So I used the Makeup Revolution Fierce as Fire palette. This is actually the palette that came free when you spent $15 worth of Makeup Revolution products, but you can buy it individually. And I also used the Smashbox Cover Shot palette. I think this one's called, the Bold Eye palette. So love these shadows, they're amazing. Thank you so much for watching and thank you for your support. I hope you enjoy the tutorial, and until next time, bye. So to prime the skin, we are using the Stila One Step Correct Primer. Then we are going to go ahead and go in with the Peach Perfect Comfort Matte Foundation from Too Faced in the shade Porcelain. I like this foundation a lot. I just wish it wasn't so heavily fragranced because the scent actually gives me like a little bit of a headache. So that's kind of a downside to it, but it's a very nice matte foundation, kind of like the Urban Decay All Nighter foundation. It reminds me a lot of that. So we're just going to blend this all over the skin, making sure we take it all down the neck, a little bit onto the ears. Then I'm going in with the Ulta Full Coverage Liquid Concealer, which actually it says it's waterproof, and I'm using the shade Light Warm. And I love this concealer. It has like a very nice like dimethicone type of texture to it, and it actually has quite a bit of coverage. I actually like it a lot more than the Makeup Revolution concealer. And I got it for $4 on sale at Ulta, so that's just amazing. And I'm just blending all my concealer in with a brush. You don't have to use a beauty blender to blend your concealer. You'll see like basically everyone just always uses a sponge and they act like it's so much easier, but honestly it's not. Don't overcomplicate a brush. It's actually quite easy. You just blend it in and do the same type of like pouncing motion you do with the beauty blender. Just tilt the brush a little bit onto its side, not just like straight on. Like it looks like I'm just touching the brush straightly to my eye, but I'm actually doing it like at a little curve. And if you use a brush, you get a ton of more coverage with your concealer than you would if you use a sponge. Minding that, also don't put too much concealer on because the brush isn't going to take any off. Then I'm just setting those areas real fast with the Laura Mercier Translucent Loose Setting Powder. Then I went ahead and filled in my brows off camera using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow in the shade Taupe. It's nearly impossible for me to fill my brows in on camera because the lights are so harsh, so I actually turn them off to fill in my brows. Then I'm going in with the Makeup Revolution Fiercest Fire palette. I'm taking just like the neutral little brown shade in it, and I'm just adding this as a base for all the rest of my shadows to go onto. They have a ton of kick up, but they're actually nice. So then I'm taking the Smashbox Cover Shot Bold Eye palette, and I'm going in with the yellow shade. I'm going in with the yellow shade first because first of all, it's going to help create like a nice gradient from like, like the dark orange into like the yellow into the transition shade we already laid down. And also because if you put yellow on your eye first, that will make like any bright shadow you put on top of it a lot brighter. So it will help give the orange shadow that I'm going to put on in a minute a lot more pigmentation. So just start slow and easily. Don't like put a ton on your brush and then just like start trying to blend it super fiercely. Just blend it slowly at first and then diffuse it out towards your eyebrow and everything. Then I'm taking a smaller brush and with the orange shade, and I'm putting that on the lid through the crease, and then I'll blend it out as well. I like using a smaller, denser brush for the orange because I don't want it to blend out as far as I want the yellow to blend out. Then I go back in with the same fluffy brush and just deepen up the orange shade. Since I already applied the orange with the smaller brush, I had basically the outline already there, so it's much easier to just then go in with the fluffy brush after. Then I'm taking the sparkly orange shade from the Makeup Revolution palette, wetting it with Fix Plus, and then applying it all over the lid in a super thick layer. This shadow is actually crazy good. It's not like sparkly or anything, but it's actually like a nice shimmer, and it looks very, very beautiful. Then I'm just taking the fluffy brush again and just going over all the edges, making sure everything is seamless. Then I'm just applying flutter lashes in the style Fierce and mascara off camera. Then I went ahead and picked up those two brown shades from the Makeup Revolution palette again and started applying those to the lower lash line as a base for the orange and yellow shades next. I'm real quick wiping off the extra powder that we applied earlier. And then I'm going in with first the yellow shade on a blending brush, taking that from inner corner to outer corner, and then I go in with the orange color from the palette and blend that throughout the lower lash line as well. Just take your time and slowly build up the orange shade on your lower lash line, just going back and forth, and then I take it and wrap it back around to the crease area and everything so that it's all blown out and completely just like encases the eye in orange shadow everywhere without any like breaks in between. Then I'm highlighting my brow bone with MAC Nylon. I really wanted like a strong icy highlight to complement the very like bold eyes. So I'm putting a couple coats of MAC Nylon on my brow bone, and then I'm also going to hit the inner corners with MAC Nylon as well. The Makeup Revolution palette has a couple like highlighty-ish shades, but they're too glittery for me. So I just went ahead and used MAC Nylon, but you could just use the white shade from the Makeup Revolution palette. Then I'm going in with the NYX Just White Liner. And then I just like really quickly hit the waterline. This helps open the eye and make it not so like dramatic and Halloween-y in my opinion. You know, if you went in with like black liner, it would look a lot more like pumpkin-y. Then I'm bronzing up my skin with the Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. I take that all over the forehead, all throughout the cheekbones. I love, love, love this bronzer. It's lightly scented. They didn't overdo it with this product like they did with a lot of their other scented palettes and powders and things like that. So I'm happy that they didn't make this smell like too much like chocolate. It honestly just smells a little bit like vanilla. Then I'm taking the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil Bronzer, and I'm using that as a contour shade. Right here, I'm just showing you the comparison between the Milk Chocolate Soleil Bronzer and then the normal classic Chocolate Soleil Bronzer. So as you could see, like one of them is like a little bit warmer and paler, and then the other one is darker and cooler. So I just bronze up my cheekbones a little bit, and then I contour them with the darker shade. Then I'm going in with MAC blush in the shade Cheek Pollen. This is a satin blush. That's my favorite formulation for MAC for their blushes, and it's just like a really warm apricot colored blush. Then I'm highlighting with Becca Champagne Pop because I wanted like a nice gold highlight. If you don't have it, you could always use like Becca Opal. That's just like a shade darker. It's basically like the same, just like a little bit darker. Or you could use Anastasia So Hollywood or Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighting Gold Bar in the shade Holy Gold Head. All three of those are comparable to the Champagne Pop by Becca. So I just highlight my bridge of my nose like always, never the tip. Then I'm just putting some mascara on my lower lash line. Well, not my lower lash line, my lashes. Then I'm going in with MAC lipstick in the shade Angel, which is a frost lipstick. It looks a lot paler on camera. In real life, it's like darker and more pink. And it's not actually really frosty at all. It's pretty much like just like a satiny lipstick. Then I'm setting my face with the Too Faced Peach Setting Spray. Make sure you shake it before using it. It's not bad. It does help your makeup last longer, but it leaves like little, like dots from where it like spurts out at your face. So just make sure you just like go over those with your finger and like get rid of any dots. And that's the final look. So thank you so much for watching. And until next time, I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Bye.